Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. సో మనం నిన్న చూసిన క్లాస్లో అయితే ఆల్మోస్ట్ షూర్ అవుతే ప్రాబబిలిటీ అవుతుందని తెలుసుకున్నాం. ఈరోజు క్వాడ్రటిక్ మీన్ అవుతే ప్రాబబిలిటీ ఎలా అవుతుందో చూద్దాం. క్వాడ్రటిక్ మీన్, then you need to prove xn convergent to x in probability. So first, let us consider the sequence is convergent in quadratic mean. ఫస్ట్ మనం xn అనేది క్వాడ్రటిక్ మీన్లో కన్వర్జెంట్ అవుతుంది అని అనుకున్నాం. అప్పుడు ఏం ప్రూవ్ చేయాలి? అప్పుడు xn అనే సీక్వెన్స్ xకి కన్వర్జెంట్ అవుతుంది ఇన్ ప్రాబబిలిటీ అని ప్రూవ్ చేయాలి. సో ఫస్ట్ క్వాడ్రటిక్ మీన్ అవుతుంది అంటే మనకు కండిషన్ ఏంటి? దట్ ఈస్ లిమిట్ n tends to infinity expectation of mod xn minus x to the power of r is equals to 0 and prove చేయాలి. Here the conditions are r should be greater than or equals to 1 and expectation of mod xn to the power of r and expectation of mod x to the power of r should be less than infinity, which is nothing but the finite. First you need to write the definition, okay? Then only you need to start writing the proof. సో ఇప్పుడు ప్రాబబిలిటీ అంటే ఏంటి? కండిషన్ మనకి లిమిట్ n tends to infinity probability of mod xn minus x greater than epsilon which is equals to 0 అని ప్రూవ్ చేయాలి, రైట్? State it as equation 1, consider it as equation 1 and it as equation 2, okay? మనం ఇది కన్సిడర్ చేసుకొని 1 అని కన్సిడర్ చేసుకొని 2ని ప్రూవ్ చేయాలి, ఓకే? So now let us consider the sequence xn is convergent in rth mean or quadratic mean that is xn convergent to x in qm. Then we need to prove xn convergent to x in probability, okay? సో దాన్ని నేను ఎలా ప్రూవ్ చేస్తున్నానంటే బై యూజింగ్ ది మార్కో ఇన్ఈక్వాలిటీ. వీ హ్యావ్ 7 inequalities, right? In those 7 inequalities, I am using the second inequality, which is Marco inequality. Marco inequality. If you don't know about this inequality, I will give you the link in the description box. So please do watch it so that you can easily understand this one. And Marco inequality వచ్చేసి ఏంటంటే if probability of x is greater than or equals to a, which is this will be less than or equals to expectation of mod x to the power of mod x by a. This is the Marco inequality. Probability of x greater than or equals to a, which is less than or equals to expectation of mod x by a. Consider it has equation 3. So here I am considering for every epsilon greater than 0. Here in Marco inequality, this a is nothing but the threshold value or a non-negative threshold value. This is the threshold value and the random variable x is a non-negative random variable which is x greater than or equals to 0. Non-negative random variable. So for every epsilon greater than 0 by Marco inequality, probability of mod xn minus x greater than or equals to, here a is a threshold value and x is a non-negative random variable, here epsilon. So epsilon greater than 0. So epsilon less than or equals to expectation of mod x. X is nothing but xn minus x. So xn minus x to the power of, here we are considering that the sequence is convergent to x in quadratic mean. So to the power of r by epsilon to the power of r. Okay. So that here we get, if you apply the limit on both sides, then limit n tends to infinity, probability mod xn minus x greater than or equals to epsilon less than or equals to expectation, sorry, you need to apply limit on both sides, right? Limit n tends to infinity, expectation xn minus x to the power of r by epsilon to the power of r. This epsilon to the power of r, take it outside because it is a constant. So less than or equals to 1 by epsilon to the power of r limit n tends to infinity expectation of mod xn minus x to the power of r. If you observe the equation 1, which are same, right? This is equals to 0. So if it is equals to 0, then we get less than or equals to 0 by epsilon to the power of r, which is less than or equals to 0. And the LHS we have limit n tends to infinity, probability mod xn minus x greater than or equals to epsilon, which is equals to 0. And if you observe the equation 2 and the last one, which are same, right? This is the condition for sequence xn to be convergent in probability for a random variable x. So xn is convergent to x in probability. In the above, first we consider xn is convergent in rth mean or quadratic mean. Then we need to prove xn convergent to x in probability. So we consider this one and we got the sequence is also convergent to x in probability. But the converse is not true. Reverse is not true, which is nothing but if sequence xn is convergent to x in probability, it does not convergent to a random variable x in quadratic mean. That is xn convergent to x in probability, it does not implies xn convergent to x in quadratic mean. It does not convergence. Okay, this says it does not implies. It does not convergent in quadratic mean. And in the next video, we have completed the 3 implications, right? First, if you see, we have completed xn convergent to x in probability and law, almost sure and probability, quadratic mean and probability. Then there are 2 remaining, that is almost sure అయితే law అవుతుందని చూపించాలి, quadratic mean అయితే law అవుతుంది అని చూపించాలి. And these 2 we are going to see in the next video. Thank you all. Happy learning to you.